I am Professor Severus Snape, your potions master. You will address me as Professor Snape or Sir. Step into the darkness with me, for there are whispers of ancient magic and forgotten tales that demand to be told, secrets that could change everything you thought you knew about this place. Come, if you dare to witness what lies beyond the veil of ordinary magic. Prologue. Beyond the familiar, for millions around the world. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry exists primarily through the lens of cinema. Magnificent castle glimpsed in sweeping aerial shots. Grand halls filled with floating candles. Banned dormitories where young wizards sleep peacefully between adventures. Yet beneath this cinematic surface lies a far richer, more complex institution whose daily rhythms, ancient traditions, and hidden corners contain magic that no film could fully capture. This documentary ventures beyond the familiar scenes of the Great Hall and Quidditch pitch to explore the Hogwarts that exists in the quiet. Moments between dramatic events, the castle that breathes with its own life, the school that operates as a living ecosystem of magic, tradition, and human connection. Here, we discover not just a school, but a 1,000-year-old organism that has evolved, adapted, and thrived through centuries of change while maintaining its essential character. The Hogwarts revealed in these pages is one where staircases have personalities, where paintings gossip across centuries, where house elves take pride in perfectly prepared meals, and where every stone holds memory. It is a place where education extends far beyond textbooks and examinations, where students learn not just magic, but how to live as magical beings in a complex world. Chapter 1. The Living Architecture of Hogwarts. The consciousness of stone and mortar. To understand Hogwarts, one must first comprehend that the castle is not merely a building, it is a sentient entity, a character in its own right, with moods, preferences, and a personality shaped by a millennium of magical habitation. The very foundations were laid with enchantments, so complex and interwoven that they have created something unprecedented in magical architecture, a structure that thinks, feels, and responds to the needs of its inhabitants. The 142 staircases that wind through the castle represent perhaps the most visible manifestation of this consciousness. Each staircase has developed its own personality over the centuries, influenced by the countless students who have climbed their steps. The main staircase to Gryffindor Tower, worn smooth by generations of brave hearts, tends to move more frequently during times of crisis, as if sensing the need for its house members to be alert and ready for action. Conversely, the quieter staircases leading to Ravenclaw Tower move in patterns that seem almost mathematical, shifting according to complex algorithms that even the cleverest students have failed to fully decode. Professor McGonagall, in her decades at the school, has observed that the staircases appear to respond to the emotional state of the castle's inhabitants. During examination periods, they move less frequently, as if understanding the student's need for reliable navigation during stressful times. During holidays and celebrations, However, they become almost playful, creating new shortcuts and connections that seem designed to facilitate impromptu gatherings and chance encounters. The staircase's movement follows no published schedule, yet patterns emerge for those patient enough to observe. The staircase leading from the entrance hall to the first floor shifts every 13 minutes during the school day, but every 19 minutes during evenings and weekends. This irregularity serves a deeper purpose than mere inconvenience. It teaches students to be adaptable, to think on their feet, and to approach problems from multiple angles when their intended path suddenly becomes unavailable. Corridors with memory, asterisk beyond the famous moving staircases. Hogwarts contains hundreds of corridors, each with its own character and purpose. Some corridors remember their history so vividly that they seem to replay events from the past. The corridor on the second floor, where the Chamber of Secrets entrance lies, still carries an echo of the terror that gripped the school during its opening. Students walking there alone often report feeling watched, not by malevolent eyes, but by the corridor itself, which has learned to be protective of those who pass through. The corridor leading to the room of requirement has developed the unique ability to subtly guide visitors toward what they truly need, rather than what they think they want. Students seeking a quiet place to study might find themselves directed to forgotten alcoves with perfect natural lighting, while those nursing emotional wounds discover passages that lead to spaces filled with an inexplicable sense of peace and healing. Perhaps most remarkably, certain corridors have learned to recognize family resemblances across generations. The passage that the Weasley twins used most frequently for their midnight escapades now seems to beckon to any student with the particular combination of mischief and good intentions that characterized the famous pranksters. Similarly, a quiet corridor near the library appears to smooth the path for students who share Hermione Granger's passionate love of learning, making their journey to late-night study sessions just a little easier. Rooms that choose their occupants. The dormitories at Hogwarts represent far more than simple sleeping quarters. They are carefully designed environments that foster the development of each house's particular virtue. The assignment of beds within each dormitory follows principles that go beyond mere alphabetical convenience. Though the mechanism remains one of the castle's most closely guarded secrets, Gryffindor, dormitories are arranged to encourage camaraderie and mutual support. The beds are positioned so that students naturally form study groups and support networks. The room itself seems to amplify courage. Students report feeling braver when lying in their four-poster beds, as if the very air contains traces of the courage of previous occupants. The windows face east, ensuring that Gryffindors wake to sunlight, beginning each day with energy and optimism. Hufflepuff dormitories prioritize comfort and inclusion. The beds are arranged in a circle around a central common area, and the room's magic ensures that no student ever feels isolated or left out. The temperature remains perfectly regulated regardless of outside weather, and the lighting adjusts automatically to each student's circadian rhythms. Most remarkably, The dormitories seem to sense when a student is struggling emotionally and subtly adjust their environment to provide comfort. Blankets become softer, the lighting warmer, and sometimes students report finding small tokens of encouragement that seem to appear from nowhere. Ravenclaw dormitories are designed to stimulate intellectual curiosity and deep thinking. The beds are positioned to provide privacy for contemplation, with each four-poster equipped with curtains that muffle sound when drawn. The walls contain built-in bookshelves that populate themselves with volumes relevant to each student's current interests and academic pursuits. The windows offer views of the night sky, and many Ravenclaw students report their best ideas coming to them while gazing at the stars from their beds. Slytherin dormitories beneath the lake create an environment of ambition and determination. The underwater location provides a sense of mystery and exclusivity that appeals to the Slytherin mindset, while the green-tinted light filtering through the lake creates an atmosphere of focused intensity. The beds are positioned to provide each student with a sense of their own territory, while still maintaining visual connection with their housemates, fostering both independence and strategic thinking about social dynamics. The secret rooms beyond the famous Room of Requirement, Hogwarts, contains dozens of secret chambers, hidden passages, and forgotten spaces that serve various purposes in the castle's ecosystem. Some were created intentionally by the founders or subsequent headmasters, while others seem to have spontaneously generated in response to the school's needs. The Founders' Archive, known only to a select few headmasters, contains the original plans and magical specifications for the castle, located somewhere behind the headmaster's office. This room preserves not just documents, but actual magical imprints of the founders' intentions for their school. The room reportedly changes its appearance based on which founder's legacy is most needed at any given time, sometimes appearing as Gryffindor's austere study, sometimes as Hufflepuff's warm kitchen, Ravenclaw's tower observatory, or Slytherin's underground laboratory. The healing chamber, discovered by accident in the 18th century, appears only when the castle senses a student in profound emotional distress. Unlike the hospital wing, which treats physical ailments, this room addresses wounds of the heart and mind. Students who stumble upon it describe a space filled with soft light and the sound of gentle rain, where time seems to slow and pain gradually lessens. The room has reportedly prevented numerous tragedies over the centuries, appearing to students on the brink of despair and providing exactly the sanctuary they need. The Time Pocket, a room that exists slightly outside normal temporal flow, serves as a buffer for magical accidents involving time. When students experiment with time turners or encounter magical artifacts with temporal properties, the castle automatically quarantines them in this space until the effects can be safely resolved. The room's existence explains why, relatively, few serious temporal accidents have occurred at Hogwarts, despite centuries of magical experimentation. Chapter 2: The Intricate House System, Beyond the Superficial Traits. While the basic characteristics of each Hogwarts house are well known: Gryffindor's courage, Hufflepuff's loyalty, Ravenclaw's wisdom, and Slytherin's ambition. The true complexity of the house system reveals itself only through years of observation. Each house operates as a complex social ecosystem designed to nurture not just the primary virtue associated with it, but a full range of human qualities necessary for a well-rounded magical education. The Sorting Hat's decisions reflect an understanding of human psychology that goes far beyond simple personality assessment. The Hat considers not just what a student is, but what they need to become. A naturally brave child might be sorted into Hufflepuff to learn the value of patience and hard work, while a brilliant student might find themselves in Gryffindor to develop the courage to act on their convictions. The Hat sees potential for growth and places students where they will be most challenged to become their best selves. Gryffindor, the complexity of courage. Gryffindor House, perhaps more than any other, suffers from oversimplification in popular understanding. While courage is indeed the house's defining virtue, Gryffindor courage encompasses far more than physical bravery or reckless heroism. The house has produced as many quiet heroes as loud ones, as many scholars as warriors, and as many teachers as auras. The Gryffindor common room, with its warm reds and golds, serves as more than mere decoration. The colors themselves have been enchanted to inspire confidence and determination. Students studying in the common room report feeling more willing to tackle difficult problems and more optimistic about their chances of success. The room's magic subtly amplifies positive emotions while dampening fear and self-doubt, creating an environment where courage can flourish naturally. Gryffindor's approach to rule-breaking reveals the sophisticated nature of the house's moral philosophy. While Gryffindors are indeed more likely to break rules than students from other houses, they typically do so for principled reasons. The house culture teaches students to evaluate rules not just based on authority, but on whether those rules serve justice and protect the innocent. This creates graduates who become reformers, advocates, and leaders willing to challenge unjust systems. The house's emphasis on courage manifests differently in each student. Some Gryffindors express their bravery through physical action, playing dangerous Quidditch positions, standing up to bullies, or rushing into dangerous situations to help others. Others show courage through emotional vulnerability, being the first to apologize after an argument, standing up for unpopular opinions, or pursuing dreams that others consider impossible. Gryffindor students learn that true courage often requires them to stand alone. The house culture celebrates individual heroism, but also teaches the importance of supporting others in their moments of bravery. This creates a complex social dynamic where competition and cooperation coexist, where students push each other to be braver while providing a safety net for those who stumble. Hufflepuff, the strength of steady hearts. Hufflepuff House represents perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of the Hogwarts experience, often dismissed as the house for students who don't fit elsewhere. Hufflepuff actually requires the most sophisticated understanding of human nature. and social dynamics. The house's emphasis on hard work, loyalty, and fair treatment of all people creates graduates who become the backbone of magical society. The Hufflepuff Common Room, located near the kitchens with its warm yellows and earth tones, creates an atmosphere of comfort and inclusion that serves important psychological functions. Students report feeling immediately accepted and valued upon entering, regardless of their academic performance or social status. This unconditional acceptance allows Hufflepuff students to develop strong self-esteem and genuine empathy for others. Hufflepuff's approach to loyalty is far more complex than simple blind allegiance. The house teaches students to distinguish between loyalty to people and loyalty to principles, and to navigate the sometimes competing demands of both. Hufflepuff students learn to be loyal to their friends while still holding them accountable for their actions, and to be loyal to institutions while working to improve them when they fall short of their ideals. The house's emphasis on hard work creates a culture where effort is valued over natural talent. This principle has profound implications for how Hufflepuff students approach challenges throughout their lives. They learn to persist through difficulties, to find satisfaction in incremental progress, and to appreciate the value of steady, consistent effort over flashy achievements. Hufflepuff students often serve as mediators and peacemakers within the broader school community. Their natural inclination toward fairness and their training in empathy make them skilled at seeing multiple perspectives and finding solutions that work for everyone involved. This role often goes unnoticed, but it's essential for maintaining harmony in a school where four very different house cultures must coexist. The house produces an unusually high number of students who pursue careers in service professions: healers, teachers, social workers, and public servants. However, this should not be mistaken for lack of ambition. Hufflepuff students are deeply ambitious, but their ambitions center on making the world better rather than making themselves famous or powerful. Ravenclaw, the pursuit of understanding. Ravenclaw house attracts students whose primary drive is the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. But the house culture encompasses far more than academic achievement. Ravenclaw students learn to value wisdom over mere intelligence, creativity over conformity, and understanding over information. The Ravenclaw Common Room, located in a tower with views of the surrounding landscape, serves as more than a study space. The room's design encourages contemplation and original thinking. The furniture can be reconfigured to support different types of intellectual work, collaborative discussion, individual study, or creative expression. The room's magic seems to enhance mental clarity and inspire innovative thinking. The house's famous riddle-based entry system serves multiple educational purposes beyond simple security. The riddles challenge students to think flexibly, to approach problems from unexpected angles, and to find joy in intellectual puzzles. Over time, students learn to appreciate the process of thinking as much as reaching correct answers. Ravenclaw students often struggle with perfectionism and self-doubt. Play side effects of their drive for understanding and excellence. The house culture teaches students to value questions as much as answers, to see failure as an opportunity for learning, and to understand that wisdom often comes from acknowledging the limits of one's knowledge. The house produces not just scholars, and researchers, but also inventors, artists, and innovators in all fields. Ravenclaw graduates often become pioneers who push the boundaries of what's possible in magical science, art, and technology. Their emphasis on original thinking and willingness to challenge conventional wisdom makes them natural innovators. Raven's approach to competition differs significantly from the other houses. Rather than competing directly with others, Ravenclaw students tend to compete with themselves, constantly pushing to understand more deeply and think more creatively. This creates a collaborative atmosphere where students share knowledge freely, understanding that everyone benefits when collective understanding advances. Slytherin, the nuanced nature of ambition. Slytherin House carries the burden of producing more dark wizards than any other house. Yet this reputation obscures the sophisticated nature of Slytherin education and the valuable qualities the house cultivates. Slytherin students learn strategic thinking, leadership skills, and the importance of ambition in driving positive change. The Slytherin common room beneath the Black Lake creates an atmosphere of mystery and exclusivity that appeals. Put to the Slytherin mindset, the underwater location serves multiple purposes, provides a sense of being apart from the rest of the school. It creates an environment that encourages deep thinking and strategic planning, and it serves as a constant reminder that success often requires diving beneath surface appearances to find hidden truths. Slytherin's emphasis on pure-blood heritage has been its most problematic aspect, but the house culture encompasses far more than blood status. The house teaches students to value excellence, to understand the importance of networks and alliances, and to develop the skills necessary for leadership in complex social and political environments. Slytherin students learn to think strategically about their goals and the steps necessary to achieve them. This creates graduates who are skilled at long-term planning, political maneuvering, and understanding complex social dynamics. These skills, when applied ethically, make Slytherin graduates effective leaders and reformers. The house's culture of ambition teaches students to set high standards for themselves and to persist in pursuing their goals despite obstacles. However, the house also struggles with teaching students to balance personal ambition with ethical considerations and concern for others. Slytherin students often serve as a reality check for the other houses, pointing out practical considerations and potential consequences that others might overlook. Their strategic thinking and willingness to ask difficult questions serve important functions in the broader school community. Even when their perspectives are unwelcome, the house produces graduates who excel in fields requiring strategic thinking, negotiation skills, and political acumen. Many Slytherin graduates become successful entrepreneurs, politicians, diplomats, and leaders in various fields. When their ambition is channeled positively, they become powerful forces for beneficial change. Chapter 3: The Hidden Curriculum. Education. Beyond the textbooks. While the formal curriculum at Hogwarts covers the standard magical subjects: transfiguration, potions, defense against the dark arts, and others, the true education happens in the spaces between classes, in the interactions between students, and in the countless informal lessons that emerge from daily life in a magical castle. This hidden curriculum teaches students life skills that no textbook could provide. Living in a boarding school environment forces students to develop independence and self-reliance from a young age. 11-year-old first years must learn to manage, bear time, take care of their belongings, navigate complex social dynamics, and solve problems without immediate adult supervision. These experiences create a level of maturity and self-confidence that serves students throughout their lives. The house system itself serves as a laboratory for understanding group dynamics, leadership, and cooperation. Students learn to work, pool with people they might not choose as friends, to support team goals even when they conflict with personal preferences, and to find their own role within a larger community. These lessons prove invaluable in adult, professional, and personal relationships. The art of magical problem solving, perhaps more than any specific spell or potion. Hogwarts teaches students to approach problems magically, not just using magic, but thinking about problems in fundamentally magical ways. This involves seeing connections others miss, understanding that multiple solutions often exist for any given problem, and developing intuition about when and how to apply different types of magical knowledge. Students learn to think about magic, understanding how different areas of magical knowledge interconnect and influence each other. A problem that seems to require a transfiguration solution might actually be better addressed through potions, or through a combination of disciplines that textbooks never explicitly connect. The castle itself serves as a constant teacher in magical problems. When a staircase moves at an inconvenient moment, students must quickly adapt their plans. When a door refuses to open, they must figure out what the door wants from them. When magical portraits offer cryptic advice, students must learn to interpret symbolic communication. These daily experiences teach flexibility, creativity, and perseverance in the face of magical unpredictability. Social and emotional learning. Living. Come in close quarters with peers from different backgrounds. Magical abilities and personality types provides intensive training in social and emotional skills. Students learn to read nonverbal cues, manage conflicts constructively, show empathy for others' struggles, and build relationships across social divisions. The house system creates natural opportunities for students to practice leadership at different levels. Prefects learn formal leadership skills, but every student has opportunities to lead study groups, organize activities, or support struggling classmates. These experiences teach students to take initiative, accept responsibility, and inspire others to achieve their best. The magical world's complex social dynamics require sophisticated understanding of power, privilege, and prejudice. Students from magical families must learn to interact respectfully with Muggle-born students, while Muggle-born students must navigate unfamiliar cultural expectations and social hierarchies. These interactions teach tolerance, cultural sensitivity, and the skills necessary for building inclusive communities. Ethical development in a magical context. The availability of magic raises ethical questions that non-magical education never addresses. Students must learn when it's appropriate to use magic to solve problems, and when relying on magic might undermine personal growth or harm others. They must develop moral reasoning about the use of power and understand the responsibilities that come with magical abilities. The dark arts curriculum, despite its problematic history with cursed professors, serves crucial ethical education functions. Students learn to recognize dark magic and its effects. But more importantly, they learn to understand the mindset that leads people to embrace dark practices. This understanding helps students recognize and resist the temptations of power, revenge, and control that corrupt even well-intentioned wizards. The presence of magical creatures on the grounds provides ongoing lessons in environmental ethics, cross-species communication, and the responsibilities of more powerful beings toward those with less power. Students learn to coexist respectfully with beings very different from themselves, and to consider the broader ecological implications of their magical practices. Time management and prioritization. The complexity of a magical education requires sophisticated time management skills. Students must balance multiple demanding subjects, each requiring different types of study and practice. They must coordinate group projects with classmates who have different schedules and different strengths. They must find time for both intensive individual study and collaborative learning. The unpredictable nature of magical life teaches students to build flexibility into their plans and to prioritize effectively when unexpected situations arise. A student's carefully planned study schedule might be disrupted by a staircase moving at the wrong moment, a portrait refusing to give the password, or a magical accident requiring immediate attention. Students learn to manage not just their time, but their magical energy and emotional resources. Advanced magic requires significant concentration and can be physically and emotionally draining. Students must learn to pace themselves, recognize their limits, and build sustainable practice. Routines that allow for both intensive effort and adequate recovery. Chapter 4. The Magical Creatures Ecosystem. Beyond Pets and Pests. The magical creatures that live on the Hogwarts grounds represent far more than interesting wildlife or teaching aids for care of magical creatures classes. They form a complex ecosystem that has evolved alongside the school over centuries, creating a symbiotic relationship between human students and magical beings that serves important educational and ecological functions. The centaur colony of the Forbidden Forest The centaur colony that inhabits the deepest parts of the Forbidden Forest maintains a relationship with Hogwarts that is both ancient and carefully negotiated. The centaurs are not mere forest animals, but sophisticated beings with their own culture, knowledge systems, and educational philosophy that occasionally intersects with human magical education. The centaurs possess knowledge of astronomy, divination, and healing magic that differs significantly from human approaches to these subjects. Their understanding of celestial movements and their influence on magical energy provides insights that human astronomical calculations often miss. Students who encounter centaurs in the forest sometimes receive prophetic warnings or cryptic advice that proves crucial during times of crisis. The centaur community serves as a living example of alternative approaches to magical education and social organization. Their emphasis on harmony with natural cycles, community decision-making, and long-term thinking provides a counterpoint to human magical society's focus on individual achievement and technological manipulation of magical forces. The presence of centaurs in the forest creates a buffer zone that protects both the school and the deeper magical wilderness beyond. The centaurs monitor the forest for dangerous creatures or dark magical influences that might threaten the school, while also ensuring that human activity doesn't disturb the ancient magical balances that keep the forest healthy. The gentle giant of the Black Lake. The giant squid that inhabits the Black Lake has become one of Hogwarts' most beloved residents, but its presence serves functions beyond providing entertainment for students on warm afternoons. The squid appears to be remarkably intelligent and serves as an unofficial guardian of the lake and its human visitors. Students who swim in the lake during warmer months report that the squid seems to sense when they're in difficulty, saved numerous students from drowning over the centuries. The creature's tentacles have been known to gently guide exhausted swimmers back to shore and to intervene when students venture too far from safety. The squid's relationship with students appears to be genuinely affectionate rather than merely protective. It seems to enjoy the attention it receives from students and has developed preferences for certain types of interaction. Students report that the squid appears more active and playful when approached by groups that include nervous or homesick first years, as if it senses their need for comfort and distraction. The creature's presence has also influenced the magical ecosystem of the lake. Its activities help maintain water quality and circulation patterns that support the diverse population of magical aquatic life that students study in various classes. The squid's hunting patterns help control populations of less friendly lake creatures that might otherwise pose threats to human swimmers. The merpeople community. The merpeople who inhabit the deeper regions of the Black Lake maintain their own complex society that occasionally intersects with Hogwarts life. Their underwater settlements include libraries, workshops, and cultural centers that preserve aspects of magical knowledge often overlooked by surface-dwelling wizards. The merpeople possess sophisticated understanding of water-based magic, underwater, herbology, and aquatic creature care. that supplements the education available through traditional Hogwarts classes. Students who establish positive relationships with the merpeople sometimes gain access to knowledge and techniques not available elsewhere. The merpeople community includes historians who maintain oral traditions stretching back to the founding of Hogwarts. Their perspectives on historical events often differ significantly from human accounts, providing alternative viewpoints that help students understand the complexity of magical history and the importance of considering multiple perspectives when pursuing historical events. The merpeople serve as guardians of the lake's magical ecosystem and as mediators in conflicts between different aquatic species. Their role in maintaining the lake's health and safety provides an example of environmental stewardship that teaches students about the interconnectedness of magical ecosystems and the responsibilities of intelligent beings toward their environment. The unicorn herds. The unicorn herds that roam the Forbidden Forest represent some of the purest magical energy found anywhere in the wizarding world. Their presence indicates the health and magical integrity of the forest ecosystem, and their behavior often provides early warning of magical disturbances or corrupting influences. Unicorns are notoriously selective about human contact, but their preferences provide insight into character and purity of intention that no magical test could duplicate. Students who encounter unicorns in the forest gain understanding of their own moral development and the importance of maintaining ethical integrity in magical practice. The unicorn's healing powers extend beyond their famous horns and blood. Their presence in an area appears to strengthen beneficial magical energies while weakening dark influences. This effect helps maintain the forest as a sanctuary for other magical creatures and as a buffer zone protecting the school from external magical threats. The unicorn herds follow migration patterns that correspond to celestial movements and seasonal magical fluctuations. These patterns provide opportunities for advanced students to study the relationships between astronomical events, seasonal changes, and magical creature behavior, contributing to understanding of magical ecology and natural magical cycles. The Thestral Colony. The Thestral Colony that nests in the forest represents one of the most psychologically complex aspects of the magical creature community at Hogwarts, visible only to those who have witnessed death. Thestrals serve as both a reminder of mortality and a source of comfort for students dealing with grief and loss. The Thestrals' role in transportation and communication extends beyond their official function in pulling the school carriages. They appear to have an intuitive understanding of human emotional states and have been known to seek out students who are struggling with depression, anxiety, or grief, providing silent companionship during difficult times. The Thestrals' ability to find their way to any destination makes them valuable allies during emergencies or times of crisis. Their loyalty to those who treat them with kindness and respect creates opportunities for students to develop meaningful relationships with beings that most of the magical world fears or avoids. The presence of Thestrals at Hogwarts, discussions of death and grief, in ways that pure academic study cannot achieve. Students who can see thestrals often find themselves serving as counselors and supporters for classmates dealing with loss, developing empathy and emotional maturity that serves them throughout their lives. The house elf community. The house elves who work in Hogwarts kitchens and maintain the castle represent a complex aspect of magical society that raises important questions about service, dignity, and social justice. The Hogwarts house elves appear to be generally content with their work, but their situation provides ongoing opportunities for students to examine their own assumptions about labor, hierarchy, and fair treatment of others. The house elves possess magical abilities that differ significantly from human magic, and their techniques for cleaning, cooking, and maintenance often prove more effective than human magical approaches. Put students who take time to learn from the house elves gain practical skills and alternative perspectives on magical problem solving. The house elves' dedication to their work and their pride in serving the school provide examples of finding meaning and satisfaction in service roles. However, their situation also raises questions about choice, compensation, and the responsibilities of those with power toward those who serve them. The ongoing debate about house elf rights and welfare provides opportunities for students to engage with complex social justice issues and to develop their own ethical positions on questions of equality, freedom, and social responsibility. These discussions prepare students for the social and political challenges they will face as adults in the magical world. Chapter 5: The Deep Traditions. Ceremonies that shape character. The formal ceremonies at Hogwarts serve functions far beyond mere pageantry or entertainment. Each ritual has been carefully designed to reinforce the school's values, mark important transitions in students' development, and connect current students with the long history of their institution. The complexity of the sorting ceremony. The sorting hat ceremony represents far more than a simple assignment process. The ritual serves as the first formal introduction to the house system and its values, but it also marks each student's transition from childhood into the magical world. For many students, particularly those from non-magical families, the sorting ceremony is their first experience of magical ritual and their first lesson in the ceremonial aspects of wizarding culture. The sorting hat itself has developed a sophisticated understanding of human psychology over its centuries of use. The hat considers not just students' current personality traits, but their potential for growth, their deepest fears and desires, and their need for particular types of challenge and support. The Hat's songs each year provide commentary on current events and school dynamics, serving educational functions that extend far beyond entertainment. The public nature of the sorting creates a shared experience that bonds each year's cohort of new students, while also allowing older students to remember their own first night at Hogwarts. The ceremony creates anticipation, nervous excitement, and ultimately relief and belonging that help first years feel welcomed into their new community. The hat's occasional difficult decisions, students who take several minutes to sort, or who seem to argue with the hat's choice, provide lessons about the complexity of human character and the importance of being open to growth and change. These moments teach students that identity is not fixed and that they have agency in becoming the people they want to be. The feast traditions, the elaborate feasts that mark the beginning and end of each school year, serve multiple functions in building school community and reinforcing shared values. The abundance of food and the magical presentation create a sense of celebration and plenty that helps students associate learning with joy and satisfaction. The Halloween feast transforms the Great Hall into a magical wonderland that demonstrates the creative and artistic possibilities of magic, while also celebrating the intersection between magical and Muggle traditions. The floating jack-o'-lanterns, live bats, and elaborate decorations show students that magic can be used for beauty and celebration, not just practical purposes. The Christmas feast for students who remain at school during holidays creates a sense of chosen family and belonging for students who might otherwise feel lonely or excluded. The special effort made for these smaller gatherings teaches students about the importance of caring for community members who might otherwise be forgotten. The end-of-year feast combines celebration of academic achievement with recognition of character development and service to the school community. The House Cup ceremony teaches students that success is measured not just by individual accomplishment, but by how well community members support each other and uphold shared values. The Yule Ball and social education. The Yule Ball, held during Triwizard Tournament years, serves important functions in social education that extend far beyond teaching students to dance. The formal event requires students to navigate complex social situations, practice etiquette and courtesy, and develop skills in conversation and social interaction that will serve them throughout their lives. The ball provides opportunities for students from different houses to interact in social rather than competitive contexts, breaking down barriers and building relationships that might not form during regular school activities. The formal setting encourages students to see each other in new ways and to appreciate qualities that might not be visible during academic or athletic activities. The dress requirements and formal protocols teach students about the ceremonial aspects of wizarding culture and the importance of adapting their behavior to different social contexts. These lessons prove valuable as students enter adult magical society, where formal events and ceremonial occasions play important roles in professional and political life. The international nature of the ball during Triwizard Tournament years exposes students to different cultural traditions and approaches to formal social interaction, broadening their understanding of the magical world beyond Britain and preparing them for increasingly globalized magical careers. Graduation and transition rituals. The graduation ceremonies and end-of-school traditions help students process the major life transition from structured educational environment to independent adult life. These rituals acknowledge students' growth and achievement while also providing closure and preparation for the challenges ahead. The final feast includes recognition not just of academic achievement, but of character development, service to the school community, and personal growth. This broad definition of success helps students understand that their education has encompassed far more than academic learning, and that they leave school as more complete human beings. The traditional final night gatherings in each house, common room provide opportunities for students to reflect on their shared experiences, express gratitude to classmates and teachers, and make commitments to maintaining friendships and house loyalties beyond school. These informal rituals often prove as meaningful as formal ceremonies. The gradual departure process, with seventh years leaving after their final examinations, while younger students continue with their school year, provides opportunities for underclassmen to imagine their own futures, and for graduates to offer advice and encouragement. This overlap helps maintain continuity in house traditions and school culture. Daily rituals and rhythm beyond the major ceremonial occasions. Hogwarts operates according to daily and weekly rhythms that provide structure and stability for students, while also reinforcing school values and community bonds. These smaller rituals often prove more influential in shaping student character than the more dramatic ceremonies. The morning owl post-delivery creates a daily connection between students and the wider magical world, while also providing opportunities for students to practice written communication and maintain relationships with family and friends. The public nature of owl delivery also creates shared experiences and opportunities for students to support classmates who might receive difficult news. The evening common room gatherings provide informal opportunities for house bonding, collaborative study, and peer mentoring.